This is the Stubborn German podcast coming to you from the delightful Stubborn German Brewing Company here in equally as delightful Waterloo, Illinois, which if you're wondering where that is on a map, if you can find St. Louis, it's like right next to it, not far away. I'm Kevin Ostie, joined by the proprietor of the Stubborn German Brewing Company, Mr. Chris Ron.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. Thanks for all the delightful comments, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. There was?
Delightful.
I know. We're also joined by our esteemed producer, Mr. Jared Chasson.
Good evening. It's still light out. It doesn't feel like evening.
Good day.
There you go.
Yes.
A compliment and an observation.
Yes.
And we've got a very special guest this time, Mr. Steve Agnew. Welcome.
Howdy.
Howdy indeed.
Thanks for coming on, Steve. I appreciate it.
It's a nice way to spend a Tuesday evening.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You say that now.
We'll find out. Right?
No, I think it is. No matter what evening it is, it's always fun to be here. Except for this part, which can be a little agonizing, and that is the German Word of the Day contest, right?
Yep, here it comes. German word of the day is not just a word this time. It is a phrase.
The German phrase of the day. So we're going to throw this out there. We all get a chance to guess on it, and then we'll find out who the biggest loser is at the end of the show.
Yes, here it is. Die Nase Wohlheben.
Holy mackerel.
Die Nase
Wohlheben. You heard it.
Nase Wohlheben.
What's it mean?
Well, Kevin, we like to be polite on this podcast.
We do.
And let our guests go first.
Steve, did you know this was coming?
No.
You're telling me you don't listen to the Stubborn German podcast?
That's always the
He
best.
just listens to the middle.
I don't
Okay.
podcast much.
I don't podcast. Okay, so the way this works, you tell me what Die Nase Wohlheben means. Then I tell you if you're right or wrong at the end.
At the end.
Welcome to my house.
Welcome
Of
to
course.
my-
Oh, wow.
Darn it.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say.
It was confident.
Jared,
I will let you ponder a little bit longer, Kevin.
thank you.
I'm going to say NASA shuttle.
NASA shuttle.
I'm going
okay.
a little more literal on this one.
Damn, I was going to take that too. Die Nase Wohlheben,
shuttle.
right? Is that what it was?
Die Nase Wohlheben.
Die Nase Wohlheben. It's obvious to me. It's the nose of heaven.
Oh, wow.
The
Okay.
nose
The common phrase
de heaven.
For sure.
translated into
yeah.
German.
I say it all the
Nose of
time.
heaven. Yep.
The votes have been tabulated. I will let you know at the end of this episode if you are correct or not.
All right.
He chuckled when he said, or not.
He did chuckle. Yeah, he did that Dr. Evil laugh over there. Or not.
Or not.
So this is the Stubborn German podcast coming to you from the brewery. And Steve, you've been an integral part of this operation for a long time.
Just about over a year.
That's right. Yeah.
I like to think of myself as the lead grain crusher.
The lead grain crusher.
It all starts with me.
It does, and he is.
That's a great way to look at it. So when you come here to the Stubborn and you get your favorite beer, it all started with you.
Part of the team.
Yeah.
So,
Tell us what that actually means.
well, Chris sent us a list of things that we were going to discuss, and he
Yeah.
said Steve crushes our grain and brew. And at first, when you say, like, crushes beer, I just picture somebody, like, pounding
he does
back
that
beers.
too.
Crushing
I was
cans in
like-
her forehead is what
Yes,
it
Steve
is.
exactly.
crushes beer,
Like,
crushes
wait,
grain.
He's crushing
Been a
grain.
while since I crushed a can on the forehead. But
Yeah.
yeah, so come in and crush grain, finish brew days after Jeremy. Do a lot of cleaning and janitorial work because that's about 90% of brewing if nobody ever tells you that.
That's just
And
brewing.
the stuff's
Yeah.
got to be clean.
I've heard that, yes.
No one
Cleaning.
ever tasted a beer and said, "Oh, it tastes like that came out of a brewery that was too clean."
Too clean.
Those are words to live by here.
That's not gritty enough for my taste.
And then I get to drink some beer on the job, too, so that helps.
There you go.
Nice.
That's nice.
Yeah, the tasting part is always good.
So in the grain crushing operation, what are we talking about? Physically describe this action for us.
Opening up 50-pound sacks of grain,
Where does the grain come from?
all different places across the United States, I'm guessing.
I guess depending on the beer.
Well,
in
some German
the
malts,
world, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
German and Germany and United States, and if we do an English beer, it comes from England, and yeah.
Because that's kind of the meat of the beer to start with. Yeah.
If you want to make a German beer, you should use German ingredients.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Lesson number 1. from
Lesson
Chris.
number 1.
German beer brewing 101.
Stay tuned for lesson number 2.
So once you cut the bag open, you got a big mess on the floor. Right?
Not yet.
No?
Only if I spill it. So I invert it into
Steve's
a
a pro.
grain mill that crushes it, and we have a vacuum system that sucks it up into a hopper. in the closet over there.
And that's what that tube is?
Yep.
I was always wondering what that is. Was you sit at the bar, you look up, there's a white tube that goes over your head?
Yep, that's a grain auger, so that will take it from the tank there to the tank above the mash tun.
Nice.
I always figured that was a sewer line or something. That makes sense.
Yeah, we send all of our sewage up to the top of the
Across
ceiling.
the width of the brewery.
That was a critical design element. We need to have a visible sewer line right over where everybody sits.
One we can
with a
talk
little
about.
clear area with
Yeah.
some sketchy exhaust clamps on it, just to
So you can see
make
the
sure
clog.
it leaks a little. You know.
I mean, to be fair, it looks like a sewer line in your house. Okay.
All right, fair
Anyway,
Do you have one of those
sorry,
through your living
Steve,
room?
Go ahead.
And then it goes to the mash tun, and we brew it.
The mash tun.
Yep.
So describe this object for us.
It is a vessel that has grates on the bottom. You mix your water with your grain, let it sit for a certain temperature for about an hour, and then you drain it out. And your starches convert to sugars while there, and then send it to the kettle, boil it up,
And here you go. You're off to the races.
fermenter, then pitch some yeast.
The yeast can consume simple sugar, which is what you make in the mash, but it can't consume starch. So if you just decided for today you wanted to skip the mash, you put yeast in it, you would have no alcohol, which would be really sad.
Yeah, that's not the goal of the place. So this term mash, where does that come from? Any idea?
Well, the Monster Mash.
Of course not. I was going to say from the 407 7th in Korea,
Right.
Mobile Army Surgical Hospital.
Mobile Army
Wow.
Surgical Hospital.
That's what MASH stood for.
Yep,
the TV show.
I got it.
But do we know?
No. Do you know why they call it mash?
No, it's probably got something to do with those Germans, but
I mean, because you're not really kind of
Mashing.
mashing.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
crushing grain, mashing grain. I don't know.
Mashing? Yeah, maybe. I don't
maybe
know.
the stirring the doughing in because you have to stir it.
That could be. That could be.
I want to quickly get back to the crushing grain. So, like, that seems like a dirty. There'd be dust. There'd be
Oh, Mike Rowe would have a heyday here.
right.
Yeah.
But there's no sign. Like you said, this place is clean. There's no sign that you're crushing grain anywhere in here.
Yeah, we keep it in a closed area,
We put Steve down in the dungeon.
That's
for
pretty
that
impressive.
part.
I gotta
Yeah.
say.
right next to the lab.
Honestly, so whole kernel grain is just crawling full of bacteria, that evil bacteria that will get into your fermenters and
Right.
cause infections and stuff. And I don't know, a lot of breweries
It's quite an image.
will actually they'll crush their grain in the same space as the fermentation, which to me seemed a little risky. So I wanted to make sure to separate it.
Yeah.
So we actually have it at the exact opposite end of our space here. It's in the basement instead of upstairs, and it's in the opposite corner of where we are right now. So
Wow, no precaution not taken.
no, I mean, like I said, who ever tasted beer and said, "Oh, they're too clean"?
I always thought, the alcohol will kill it.
Why is this beer
Makes
sour?
sense. Yeah, right.
And green.
In green,
Yeah.
yeah, taste infected.
So how did you end up joining the team here?
Well, I've known Chris for, before he even opened here. So
Yeah,
I've been
many
the
years.
firm homebrew club that meets here.
We would judge competitions together way back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember a couple, a long time ago. And
Mike Walter's house, we did one
yeah,
there.
yep.
Yep.
Mike Walter's house is a good place to judge competition.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
What was the characteristics of that? Just
He had a big cooler in his room that had a
lot
bunch
of
of
beer.
beers.
Yeah, kegerator with some pretty good beer on tap.
there
all
you
the time.
go. Good time had by all.
Yes.
So anytime we have somebody on who has known Chris for a long time, of course, we always ask for those stories.
Steve doesn't have any of those.
Come on.
Better not have any of those stories.
I have never seen him get too out of control,
Oh, wow.
except for the Tenacious D
Whoa.
duet
There you
Duet.
go.
with his brother Corey.
Okay.
All right.
Tenacious
That's
D,
enough,
right
folks.
That is
Yeah.
something
Cut.
we're going to dive into.
Cut.
Tenacious
What
D.
happens in Kentucky doesn't always stay in Kentucky.
No, it did
Wow.
not tonight.
That's outstanding. What was the song?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Okay. Chris will be joining me at my next performance
'Cause I know
as
what-
we perform Tenacious
Yeah,
D
we
songs.
can play the Pick of Destiny.
Let's do that.
I'll sing.
Far Out has been missing a rousing round of my
Yes.
biznitch is the shiznit.
Right? It's
Is that on the
coming.
new album?
No, that's an old Tenacious D song. Look it up.
Okay, well,
Oh, that's fantastic.
that's great.
Very nice, Steve. Appreciate that.
Speaking
Yeah.
of far out, they're performing here in the brewery in just a few weeks. Maybe
coming
we can,
up. In
maybe
fact,
we can practice a little. And
We may have
uh,
already performed by the time you hear this.
Actually, I'm wondering if that's the case. Actually, Jared,
It will
you
be
did
the case.
You did a great job.
Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate you having
Boy,
us.
everybody, standing room only.
Yes.
I hope everyone
Right.
enjoyed our rendition of Tenacious D's.
I mean, I really enjoyed the
business,
harmonies. It was-
isn't it?
I know which song I want to play with Chris. I'm not sure he'll sing it with me, but
I know which one you mean.
starts off real soft and
Yep.
builds.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
yes,
it's
go
cool
on.
that you're kind of part of the behind the scenes team here at the Stubborn because you're not a bartender,
No.
and so a lot of people might not ever see you do your deal, right? Because you're here on brew days and
Oh, I work sometimes while the general public is in here.
yeah.
Yeah. So I come in normally about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Steve's kind of the international man of mystery. He just kind of comes in the afternoon, does his thing. You might see him at the bar, you might not.
Sometimes I'm thirsty.
So now we got two of them on the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's the second.
What's
international-
funny is this is not the first person you've hired that was a common patron of the bar, and then I second guess myself. I'm like, no, he's worked here more than a year. I've seen this guy
Yeah, it
for
seemed like it,
years,
yeah.
and it's like, no,
Well, I've been around
I've just
here.
seen him at the bar.
probably have seen
Just
it.
been on
Right.
the other side of the fence.
Right.
No, so here's the truth about Steve, though. Steve
here we go.
is a wealth of knowledge in the brewing world. Just from home brewing, really. I mean, honestly, he makes some of the best home brews that I've ever tasted. And, I mean, I think he could probably get a job at literally any brewery, and I mean, any brewery that he wanted to, especially, in the St. Louis area. And he has those connections, too, and could go do that. And we feel way lucky to have him on our team. I mean, there's not a time where we're trying to develop a new recipe that I don't have Steve's input on something.
Sure.
He's awesome with hops. There's a classic hop combination that Steve has come up with, and it's called every hop.
At least 7.
Yeah, at
Wow.
least 7. So, and Steve, can you tell us about that? Like, why when Steve makes an IPA or a pale ale, he'll just combine tiny amounts of tons of varieties of hops. Like, why do you do that? What's the point?
Well, I like cooking also. So I treat hops as spices when it comes to beer because basically what they are when you use them in that way.
Sure.
All hops have different flavor and aroma compounds. So, I mean, I like to play certain ones together. Some have more like blueberry, some are more lemon, some are more citrus, some have some woody aromatics to it like pine and resin. And it's just trying to get the balance that you want out of them for the flavor profile and the aroma you want.
For sure. And that just comes with experience of trying stuff.
Well, lots of drinking.
And that. Yeah.
Lots of drinking.
So is there a favorite type of beer you like to make?
Oh,
Steve still homebrews a ton. So
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
I typically make more English and Belgian beers at home,
Okay.
like Saisons and British bitters and dark milds.
The stuff that Chris won't make.
That's true.
That's not true. He did make a rye
you,
bitter the
Steve.
first year that he was open, one of my recipes.
Okay.
That's right.
But they're all pumpkin.
Yes. Right.
Yes, as long as it has pumpkin, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't brew pumpkin beers.
There's two of you. That's why you work here.
I take that back. I have brewed a pumpkin beer, but it's
It was here.
Yeah, both of you
I'm
begrudgingly
sorry.
brewed it.
Yeah.
Now, were you caught off guard at all when Chris decided to offer you a position here, or had you been working somewhere else brewing?
Steve's
or?
been offered a job here a long time before he actually took
Okay,
it.
I see.
I was just seeing. I mean, I have a regular job also, so
Yeah.
I ended up having some time more around this area now. So, like, okay, good beer benefits.
Nice.
Absolutely. And once again, now you can share your work with a much greater audience than being a home brewer
yeah.
on its own. And that's really cool to see people that are digging it. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's never been anything wrong with this brewery. It's one of the best ones in the St. Louis area.
I agree.
You know, it's,
And it's not being arrogant saying that it's just a thing that I don't know, you can call it whatever you want. Skill, you can call it maybe some luck, you can call it some passion, but, you're right. This place, a lot of times people are hesitant about going to a local brewery, a craft brewery, because you're like, I'm not sure what I'm going to get here. But here, try whatever you want, you're going to like it.
And we focus on German beers, which are harder to get in most places around here.
Yeah.
Not many breweries brew a Doppelbock every year.
Right.
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 Or had a goat bring their beer in the opening.
And it's not often I come in here that there isn't someone that's traveled from at least St. Louis, if not a little further, to be here. So
Yeah.
word travels fast.
Any idea where your longest distance guest has been from?
Oh, gosh. I mean,
Slovenia, maybe?
Slovenia, for
we're
sure.
big in Slovenia.
We are huge. No, I don't know. We've had some international guests, but it's like someone local brought an exchange student or whatever in.
How about legit Germans from Germany?
Oh yeah, totally.
And what are they? What's the feedback?
Well, I always have to explain the name.
Because they don't understand stubborn.
What do you
because
mean
it's
stubborn?
It's in the DNA.
A lot of times they're concerned with the name of our IPA. We got to kind of go through that a little bit.
Well,
Blitzkrieg was,
not always
I mean,
a positive
no.
adjective.
right. So yeah,
You just say, no, it's because of Metallica. That's why.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, clearly, you
Judging
look at
by
the
the
logo.
logo,
We're just
yeah.
ripping off Metallica. They're fine with it. They're totally fine with it. Right?
You didn't want to do the beer that should not be.
No, that'd be too much of a rip-off.
Yeah, that'd be anti-sales.
Yes.
It's funny you mentioned the
Anti-sales.
the IPA, right? So, if you've heard this show before, you heard the story of the IPA.
The IPA, of course.
In California. Well, last weekend I got to spend some time with our V8 radio podcast co-host, Mr. Mike Huball Clark.
Cool.
And I caught up with him at an establishment. And his opening to me was, "Hey, I've had 7 IPAs."
7 IPAs.
That's great.
And he was doing really well.
He was doing really well.
Oh, yeah. At
Oh,
that point.
7 IPAs will do that to you.
Yeah.
Cue ball.
It was a big day.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
7 IPAs.
when you're brewing your home brews, and you mentioned being involved with the firm, you're still involved with the firm?
Oh, yeah.
Brewing Club?
Yep. Yeah, we got the beer BQ coming up.
Actually, BBQ is just over with.
Oh, man,
That was awesome.
just missed
Wasn't it
it.
amazing, though?
Yeah.
It might be
was a
tomorrow.
great
I'm not
time.
sure. We'll see.
Maybe it's tomorrow.
You participated in beer BQ in the past?
Oh, yeah. Every year so far.
Yeah.
And this year. I'm a regular club goer for the firm.
And former president.
No, that's true. Vice president right there in
Right
that
here.
chair.
That's
Wow,
right.
we got VIPs over here.
Right.
Not saying we were the ones that got things done, but we were.
But let me just say that. We were.
That's outstanding.
Things happened. Yeah.
Is it-
under our regime.
Is it contentious when you get when your term is up as president of Homebrew Club of the firm?
No, you're actually trying to give it away 3 months
really?
before your time is
Okay,
up.
you're ready.
And if you're smart, if you're a regular club member, if you're smart, you come to all the meetings because we usually self-elect someone that's not
Okay.
there to defend themselves,
Nice.
and then they
so-
show up and they go, "Guess what? You were president."
They were
now."
voluntold to
Yes.
be president.
So there's no
Okay.
voting machine discrepancies or
No.
lawsuits
no,
or anything?
no machines at all. A mechanical pen, I guess.
Nice.
You go out on top, though, throwing a Christmas party.
You do,
And then you're
always.
done.
and then that's
Okay.
it. Yep.
It's good to
That's the
celebrate
fun part.
that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah. For sure. So we have a new beer coming out that Steve helped pick out the hops on. It's a pale ale, and it's called it's called Can't Nest Here.
Can't nest here.
I feel like there's a story behind that.
A.K.A. birds are dumb.
Birds are stupid.
birds are
Tammy posted many posts about this. What can you get into the
Yeah.
background? What's going on with your bird problem?
That was so great.
We have had birds on this stinking patio of ours since we took over the space.
All right, hold on. The patio is
Sparrow.
not stinking.
It's a great patio.
No. It annoys me when I have to clean up
Yes.
some other stinky stuff from the
Right.
birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time, like every day.
Because I
Every
never
day.
see it out there, so you do a good job.
Yeah.
Thank
right?
you. Well, I think this year it's because I fixed it.
Oh.
You know what I did?
How did we address
Named a
this?
beer after him. Said, "Can't nest here."
And
Nice.
they read the label and they left.
Yeah. No, actually, I've said it before on this podcast, but some beers need a name and some names need a beer. And we were going to brew a pale ale anyway, and we kind of needed a name.
Okay.
Steve's pretty good with names. We tried to float some ideas out there. Nothing was really sticking. I
had terrible ones this time.
Yeah, he'll do better. It's okay. You're fine. Steve has had some great names. Vulgar Display of Rice from the Pantera album.
Awesome, yeah. Love that.
Do you care to share any of your other good ones while we're taking this little sidetrack?
Well, me and Jeremy thought up Hop Tub Time Machine, which
Hop
is
Tub
one
Time
of,
Machine.
That's a great one, too.
Dynamite.
we're both pretty proud of that. We
is good.
designed that beer from that name.
Yeah. So old school.
You drink it and you lose track of time. You end up in a different dimension.
Yep.
Yeah, back to when IPAs only used these 5 hops, and it was like the California raisins. See the like the 5 hop
wins
cones
on every level.
Yes, yeah. So it's the old school hops. It's like Cascade, Centennial, Chinook, Simcoe, and
Did we use Hartwick in that too?
No. It's not old enough.
I thought we were gonna.
I don't know. Tune into the next episode of the Stubborn Dude Podcast.
When you find out
where
the
we
fifth hop.
Figure out the fifth hop.
It was another hop.
It's like the fifth Beatle.
Yeah,
Who's the fifth?
It's Clarence.
There's a lot more going on with that beer and the logo and
That's a great
everything
beer,
than
yeah.
you first realized.
Yeah, the 80s color scheme.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, that's killer.
That's a combo for that's a Brad Kime logo, and
Yep.
so those two. Jeremy and Steve come up with the idea and the beer. Basically, I take that, give it to Brad. Brad does, so I had nothing to do with it.
So
except
you're just
drink
the
it.
middle-man, is what you're saying?
The
man that makes it happen.
He's
Right.
the end consumer. He's not
And
even
what
the
would you
middle.
say it
man.
is?
I feel
you
like
do here.
I feel like now. Yeah,
We're
right.
going to see if we can eliminate your position.
I feel like now it's finally working. This was my plan all along.
Well, you know what? That is excellent, by the way. If you can launch an establishment and get a team that is good enough to run it better than you without you, that's
Right.
the goal
Yes.
in life.
Good enough. They over excel.
That's what I'm saying. Better than you without you. There's another beer name.
Okay, I'll write that one down.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yes.
So when you guys are naming the beers and coming up with Hop Tub Time Machine, so you said the name dictated the beer on that one. You just thought about back in time and hops and.
Well, what really happened is we had brewed an IPA, probably Blitzkrieg. And I was looking in the kettle, and there was just a whole bunch of hops in there. I said, "Look at all these hops! It's like a big old hop tub, Jeremy." And went from there.
Yeah, nice. Riffed on it, and there you go.
It's a big old hop tub.
Big old hop tub.
That's too cool. So your new beer, Can't Nest Here. That's going to be fun to hear people order that one after
Right.
a long night of.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
When does that hit
Hope
the?
they shout it so those stupid birds hear. Can't nest here.
When does that hit the rack?
Probably I would say middle to late May.
And what's the characteristics of that one?
Steve, what are the characteristics of it?
This is another one. Huh? You got nothing to do with?
No, he came up with the hop schedule on it.
It's been a while since I looked at it.
No,
It's in the tank.
So we started to use. Go ahead and look up your hops, but we started to kind of use the same grain bill. I really like German Pilsner malt. Go figure. For the base, you can use two row barley malt is fine for a lot of situations. It's like that's it. It's fine. But
It works.
Pilsner gives you some of that like crackery, like crispness
Nice.
that you kind of want in most beers anyway.
That was another one of my high school nicknames.
Crispness,
Crackery Crisp.
Crackery crisp.
Got it. But so I kind of came up with the same base that we've been doing for a lot of these IPAs, like Idaho Gem and 3.9 hops and Hop Tub Time Machine. Those are all similar grain bases, and then we switch the hops up. But what do you have for the hops for Can't Nest Here?
So we're going with Mandarina Bavaria for the Whirlpool.
Yes.
So that one's a German hop, actually, and it's very orange forward.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of nice citrus in the flavor. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to use Galaxy, which is an Australian hop.
Nice.
Mosaic, which sometimes brings blueberry and fruity good flavors. And then Citra, which is used in Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg, it's
Less
on,
Citra though, but I wanted to use that still to tie it into our main IPA. Keep sort of the same flavor profile, a little bit of it.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
So it's going to be tropical-ish, fruity.
Sure.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Yeah, kind of warm and fuzzy.
Okay, I have a question. It's an IPA question.
Okay.
I feel like many of our listeners who are maybe not up on the vernacular and all the ins and outs of different kinds of beers might be interested in this question. The Idaho Gem IPA
Yes.
and the 3.9
Yes.
3.9 hops IPA.
Yep.
I feel like those were very, very good beers that some people who maybe don't like IPAs would like those. What's different about those? Why were those really good for somebody that might not be into IPAs?
We made them approachable as all get out.
Okay.
What we did.
How do you make an IPA
We lowered the
approachable?
bitterness. You,
Yep.
you don't
Okay.
have to kill everybody's taste buds with
All right.
crazy bitterness.
Really?
Right, Steve? Am I right?
You're right. I mean, I wanted bitterness on
I know.
Hop
Yeah,
Tub
we
because
could've-
that's a
Yeah.
old
Yes.
school IPA. It's supposed to be bitter. But you don't have to make everyone like that. You can make very good hoppy beers that aren't off-putting to everybody else's
So if
palate.
somebody isn't a huge IPA fan, would you say that's bitterness? That's what they don't like probably?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah. So hops can give you bitterness, and they can give you flavor, and they can also give you aroma.
Okay.
So, and it depends on how long you boil them for. Think of making beer.
Yeah.
When you boil hops for 60 minutes.
Great analogy.
Thank you.
It's kind of like when you're making beer.
I was thinking tea, but I'm like,
making beer is very similar to making beer.
I don't know that I've ever made tea this way.
the aromatic oils in the hops are more volatile, so if you throw them in 60 minutes, all of that's
They're
going to
gone.
be gone. But all the bitterness you get out of them, you're going to get all of that.
Yes.
So the later you throw it in, like towards the end of the boil, the more aroma and flavor you'll get, less bitterness.
There
Now,
you go.
I have a question along those same lines.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever covered this, but what was the deal with India?
What was the deal with India?
Well, it's an India Pale Ale, right? That's an IPA.
yes.
You want to hear the story?
What's the deal with India?
You guys got about 30 minutes?
We don't need the 30-minute version, just the short version.
I've heard multiple versions, so I'm curious as well what your
so
take
I'm
on
going to
it is.
guess. Was it Brits in India that
Yeah.
did it?
Yeah, the Brits were going around the tip of Africa, South Africa, trying to settle India, right?
Settle, take over, whatever.
Well, whatever.
You know.
Yeah, that's for you to decide.
Colonize.
Colonize. And the beer got there, and it was all spoiled and terrible and sour, and
Just like they liked it.
gross. Yeah. So they decided back home they would just dump a crap load of hops in there, and then
To keep it alive?
Hops have like an antibacterial quality to them, so the more hoppy a beer is, and that's still true today. That if for whatever reason, if you're worried about bacteria getting into your beer, just put a ton of hops in it. I mean, I can't imagine a brewery today being like, "I'm worried about this batch. I'm going to just put a ton of hops in it." But you could do that.
You've already gone too far.
Yeah. You're
You got other problems.
you skipped something along the way, like cleaning. But so they dumped a ton of hops in it, and it survived the trip around the tip of Africa, and everybody was happy except the Indians.
Really?
Yes.
The people of India.
Because then they stay.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Indians.
The legit ones.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was to make a batch of beer last a long trip.
Pre-refrigeration,
That's why IPAs exist. All right.
That's the story. I don't know.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
I could
Sounds,
do that.
sounds about right. Okay.
There you go, which is different from an Indiana Pale Ale, which
Indiana Pale
Totally
Ale is a
different
whole
story.
other
a whole
thing.
lot of corn.
yeah,
A whole lot of corn.
another good name for a beer. A whole lot of corn.
Whole lot of corn.
So
With like the Led Zeppelin font.
I'm seeing it. There's
a
all
whole
kinds
lot
of
of
music
corn.
tie-ins.
Whole lot of corn.
What I'm also seeing here is like a beautiful slideshow of all of your logo beer boards at some point, blasted on the wall or
We've
projected
talked
or
about
something.
that before. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet.
Well, we're going to do
Chris.
an episode. My plan is to get Brad Kime back. We'll
Yeah.
do an episode
Okay.
of the best logos that he's done.
You should have a vote.
Tournament
man.
style.
We should
To,
vote. People's choice.
Next year for March Madness, we'll do bracket style.
Oh, there you go. Put
That's
them
a good
all
idea.
up on all
Yes.
the walls. And
Let
then,
everyone vote.
Yeah, whoever guesses the
And,
winner at
I
the
mean,
end
at
drinks
this
it free
point,
for a year.
Brad's
no.
got
What?
64. He's got 64 logos. So.
At least.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm sorry, what?
What?
So, we heard about the new IPA. coming out.
Pale ale.
I'm sorry, the pale ale coming out.
Okay,
right.
wait, that's a good question.
go.
What's the difference between an
What's the
India
difference?
Pale Ale and a Pale Ale?
An India Pale Ale has
there's-
more alcohol.
More alcohol. Okay.
It's a bigger beer. The
All right.
Pale Ale is probably going to be right around 5-ish, probably.
Sure. Yep.
5.5, something.
Five.
4.5, somewhere
All
around there.
right.
Traditional IPA is what, 7-ish?
Six
to eight.
yeah.
Yeah, call it that. Pale ale would be 4.5 to 6.
6, yeah.
Now there's an American Pale Ale and an English Pale Ale. Is
Yeah,
that right?
but we make the American Pale
the
Ale.
American. And what would be different about an
Well,
American versus
we
English?
are
Is
in
it-
America.
Just about
so-
everything.
That's part
Okay.
of it. It's a big
Wait,
part
no.
of it.
The yeast would be the same. You use English yeast on it.
Yes, we actually do.
All right.
Different malts. They would not use Pilsner. They'd use
No.
probably Maris Otter, which is a English type of base malt that's a little darker than Pilsner malt. Caramel malts are going to be in it. English hops like Fuggles and East Kent Goldings, which give more of an earthy, spicy, little bit of citrus sometimes.
The
And-
Fuggles are part of a children's show.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like it.
What?
Okay. American.
So it's more
the-
malty. It's not hoppy like
Yeah.
an American pale
So
ale.
the new Cant Nest here is an American Pale Ale,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course he
Right.
says, as if I should know.
It's an APA, you know.
It's an APA.
I
There you
had
go,
an
an
APA. I
APA.
had about 16 APAs before this.
Yeah, right. Well, now we're up to 16, man. Wow.
Nice.
OPA to the APAs.
That's a challenge to
That
cue ball.
is,
Can
sure,
you
yeah.
do
Lay it down.
16?
16 APAs. Well, he'll be down here in a couple of weeks, so we'll bring him
Oh,
over.
good
Yeah.
deal.
Give
Nice.
it a whirl. All right, I got a question for you, Steve. As a guy who makes beer on a lot of different kinds, if somebody just set a mug of something in front of you and didn't tell you anything about it, could you dissect it and tell us what's in it?
Well, that's sort of difficult, but I would give it a shot.
Yeah. You're willing to try?
I would sure give it a
I mean,
shot.
I could probably get it pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some weird out there styles.
Well,
but
not, the off, crazy.
yeah, I'd be able to get it pretty close. I would accept the challenge.
Right on.
You'd be able to nail anything even weird down to 2 to 3 styles, right?
Yeah.
You'd say it could be this, could be that, could be that, but it's got. I'm leaning this, but
Yeah.
give yourself 2 on the fringe. Yeah, yeah.
That was
Steve's a great beer
a
judge.
fun activity at the barbecue.
Oh, there you go. That was.
Yes, it was. Wasn't it?
Right there.
Yeah. Boy, I had a blast doing that with
Well
you,
done.
Kevin.
It was the best.
So fun.
Didn't know I could drink all those.
Yeah, you did a heck of a job, man.
Surprised I'm still standing.
So what's it like working with this guy?
No, don't
He's
answer.
actually a pretty solid guy. I mean, small place, good owners. They treat everybody nice. We all have fun. I mean,
You ever find yourself pushing him around? This isn't right. I'm not going to do this. This is a bad idea.
I don't say it's a bad idea.
The rest of it, though,
I will say, hey, can I get a new scrub brush?
that's code. This is a bad
The
idea.
scrub brush is screwed up. I will take a new one, please.
All in this interest of quality standards and cleaning.
Steve has definitely brought some things up that, needed to be rethought in the past. I can't think of specifics, but that does happen.
I'm sure it happened. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure
No,
it happened.
it happens.
You can always tell a good German. You just can't tell them much.
Oh, I listened, and then I said that's stupid. And,
It's like,
Back to work.
really?
aren't you crushing mine?
Now, Chris mentioned. I'm just going to reference your list, Chris, because Chris likes lists.
yeah. I'm glad someone's looking at it.
Yeah. Now he said that Steve, you push his boundaries as far as brewing
Oh,
goes,
that's
and you
right,
do
yeah.
more with sour beers and IPAs. And I know Chris is not a sour beer guy.
We have not started pushing those boundaries yet.
Yeah.
What do you
he's,
mean yet?
He's anticipating.
Yeah. So are you got a sour in the works?
I have
Trying to find your
I have
right
a couple
time.
at home. Long-term sours sitting at home. I'm probably gonna. Oh, actually, I just served one at Barbecue. Sorry.
It was great.
It just did.
Very
I
solid.
think it won.
It was so good.
It might have.
Might have.
No, that one's not going to be on the list. I know better.
Oh.
No, I like sour beers. I like drinking them. I think we might be able to do a traditional Berliner Weiss one day, but You just got to get them over that hump.
So do you brew something at home and bring it in and say you got to try this because it might work well here?
Oh, yeah.
I've tried a lot of Steve sours, and they're amazing. They're really good. And the problem is, though, that when I taste someone like Steve that really knows what they're doing with sours, I drink it, and then I go, wow, they do an amazing job with sours. They should just keep going with that, and I won't.
Or they could do it here.
It's like, why would I do that? But that is it's a thing. Since Steve has come aboard, I have loosened up my opinions on sours just a tad. Now, we haven't done any yet.
0.01%.
Right.
And it hasn't broken the calendar yet.
How often?
I've only hassled them in front of a couple other brewers once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you have customers come in and ask, "Do you have a sour?"
Not that often
Is that
anymore.
marketable? Yeah.
Right. Not enough to brew a sour.
There may be a revolution coming.
Did you banish all of them?
Yeah, they're gone.
They're not welcome here. I'm with you, Chris. By the way,
Thank you.
Just so you know.
Well,
Sorry, Steve.
the long-term sours, you have to make a good, clean beer.
Right.
And then then you put your sour bugs into it, and then you let it sit for about a
long
year.
Time, yeah.
Wow.
You don't look at it. You don't talk to it. You just
So can I store that like 6 miles away, somewhere very far away from here?
you sure can.
Okay, well, then I wouldn't be scared of that.
There you go. You heard it here first, friends.
I wouldn't be scared of that.
But it's all about time and letting the bacteria and the little organisms doing what they need to.
How much time are we talking?
The one I just served was going on 17
years.
months, maybe.
Wow.
17 months?
Yeah.
Dang.
It's not a high turnaround production type beer.
No,
Nope.
doesn't sound like it.
And that's only 3 gallons, too.
And that was all in stainless the whole time, or
No, that's in a carboy.
well, okay, but yeah, not wood.
No.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
How did you know it was done?
Well, you try it.
Well, I was going to say, are you trying it along the way, or no? You got to wait 12 months.
Anymore, I don't really try them. The bacteria and stuff I use for most of the time is normally done within 6 to 9 months. I just let it ride. Sometimes it'll get a nice biofilm on it. They call it a pellicle. Look it up in science. It's neat.
It is cool.
Pellicle.
Those are freaking sweet.
Yeah. And then
Skin
if you
to the layman?
if
Kinda,
it has that, you know your things are working. And you also have a little oxygen coming in, which
Which is a little iffy.
and then you try it, and then it's sour and fruity and funky and delicious. And
You're talking like you add fruit back to it, right?
Sometimes.
Or okay.
no, even
Not
just
what about the one that you just served at BBQ?
Oh, so that was a Flanders Red.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's
So no fruit added there.
no, I did add
Cherries
tart
or-
cherries,
okay.
and then I put a little bit of hibiscus in it also.
Oh, my gosh.
To
It
try
was so good.
to try and get some of
Do you
that.
remember that one? Man.
Oh, it made my day.
Yeah.
The hibiscus had me.
Yep. I
you
like
ever-
hibiscus.
Did you ever do one with low biscus? That's really tricky.
That's tough.
I know it is.
That's your second one tonight.
No.
Woo.
Well, what's really cool is listening to you guys do a little beer geek out here and having a guest that is really a big part of the machine inside. So when a patron comes here, you come to the bar, you look at the wall, you go, I'm going to try one of those. You sit down and enjoy it. Well, this is what happened. So that you have that great time at the bar and enjoy that beer. These are the guys that made all that happen. So I appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
Kevin, the best part is that a lot of times when you do that, Steve is sitting at the bar after his shift and hanging out, and
And he's looking at you.
One of the coolest things about having Steve work here, honestly,
Judging
is
slightly.
A little bit.
judging slightly, very slightly.
He's got to be slightly hopeful.
Have
He's
another
ever-
blueberry wheat,
Ever
sir.
so slightly, yes.
and a pumpkin to chase it.
Steve hangs out after his shift. He'll drink a beer. He'll sit there
He's
and
not
talk.
ashamed.
He'll talk beer with whoever, whenever, and
Yeah.
and bourbon too. He's a wealth of bourbon knowledge, which we didn't go into
Oh,
whatsoever.
wow.
So
That'll be another episode. With
So
right.
he kind of is into everything we do here, and
Secretly, though, in a lot of ways.
So if you can spot Steve at the bar, sit down next to him, and you'll have a fun time.
Now we talked
Just
about.
don't try and buy me a beer.
That's right. That's right. When Jeremy was on, we kind of
Yeah.
did the same thing. We credited, we love to promote and prop up Chris and Tammy and all they do for the
yeah,
community.
Thank you so much, Jared.
But really, it wasn't them. It's Jeremy.
Right.
And now we find out it's Jeremy and Steve.
It's Jeremy and Steve.
It's mainly Jeremy.
And now you're thinking, like, what the hell does Chris even do
All
here?
these beers on the wall that we all love and we appreciate coming here. It's not really Chris.
No, I don't do
It's
anything.
Steve and Jeremy.
Chris's recipes. Come on, let's give him.
Yes.
Let's give him a little bit of.
Yeah,
So
thank-
we
thank
appreciate you, Steve.
That's his last grasp
Thank
of
you,
control.
yes.
is
And Kevin, it really is.
He does mash in too sometimes.
Yes,
so
I will. I will tomorrow morning.
mashing in, the tech term there.
I saw video of Chris taking bags.
Chasing a bird?
And moving heavy bags of grain. So,
Oh, he's a mover, too.
you know,
You had a video of me moving heavy bags.
I believe your wife posted it
Yeah,
on Facebook.
you clearly don't follow your own Facebook media.
It
Yeah.
must have been grain delivery day.
It was.
It's got to happen.
Hey, it's a rough job.
Oh, I know.
We
I know what
appreciate
you're
you
talking
doing
about
this.
Steve, do you ever sit there at the bar and you're, incognito self and somebody's having a beer next to you and they look at you and go, boy, this was horrible? And do you,
How
look
many
in?
times?
Not yet.
And you get up and move to the other side of the bar.
Yeah.
Be like, you sure?
Well, but what I mean by that is...
Should we talk about that?
People have different tastes, but the good thing is you've got different kinds of beer to satisfy all the different tastes. You can't expect everybody to love everything.
Oh well, I know that what we put out on those taps, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But then it comes down to personal taste. Oh yeah, that's just finding the right beer for you is what it is. There's
Well, if someone orders Doppelbock and says, "I love goats, give me a Doppelbock,"
Yeah.
and they're,
what do you normally drink?
Miller Lite,
Yeah.
you're not gonna like our Doppelbock, even though you like goats.
How about trying a sample?
That's a great point. Try the sample first.
Sample first.
Don't waste the full glass of that, please.
Yeah. Right. Because it's good, even though it might not be to you.
It's delicious.
Somebody loves it. Yeah. That's cool. Well, Steve, we appreciate you coming on, and it was great to hear your side of what you bring to the tapper, if you will.
Thank you.
I love the fact that once again Chris has been able to bring in an expert in the field, organically, a guy who did it himself, still does it himself, very passionate, and
I love that too, by the way.
that's cool. That's great. I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
good for everything.
People have been making beer for thousands of years with less equipment, so I mean, yeah.
We should be able to do pretty decent.
It's got and it's really got nothing to do. I mean, it's got something.
We don't
to do
even
with
have to chew it up and spit it out into anything anymore. It's like
You can just actually swallow it.
ring it out, ring the drops.
But what Chris is really great at bringing in is the German word of the day.
What? Okay. German word of the day was a phrase, and it was Die Nase vorheben.
Of course it was.
That's what it was.
Nase vorheben.
that sounds familiar.
Okay.
That was today.
Steve, very confidently, if I remember, said, it means welcome to my house. Jared said it means a NASA shuttle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Kevin says, did you say nose of heaven?
That's what I.
Because that's what my thing says.
That's what I
It's
said.
like,
I can't
is that
believe
what you said?
There was
I-
no autocorrect.
I can't believe I typed that, actually. Okay. Unfortunately, it does not mean nose of heaven.
Damn.
Or NASA shuttle.
So
Oh, good
close.
Lord. So its literal translation is to have the nose full.
How close was I?
Or, as the Germans love all these metaphors,
get a snootful.
it's enough is enough. So when you say enough is enough, you say Die Nase vorheben.
To have the nose full.
I thought it was
the
because
nose
it's
is
allergy
full.
season.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because
That's also true.
There is a term that my forefathers used to use for being overserved, and that is to have a snootful.
A snootful.
Yeah,
Which would be,
had a
see?
snootful.
which would be
all
a
connected.
NASA full.
Yes. Nice.
That's a good German phrase of the day, Chris. Good
Thank
job.
you.
And good
got
job
more.
to Kevin for being kind of close.
Kind of close, right?
Kind of, sort of close.
I took 2 years of German in high school,
Yeah.
so
You
it shows you how much.
Nose.
It's
nose of
amazing
heaven.
how not useful taking 2 years of German
Yeah.
and actually ends up being for most of our guests.
Well, my second year was the last year.
Yeah, like
So my teacher
Yeah.
gave
sure.
I took 3
Nothing.
years. 3 years of
years.
Spanish with nothing.
Oh yeah, right.
you gotta be for being here.
Yeah, this idiot took 2 years of Spanish and then opened a German brewery. I could have
right?
taken German.
I'll
But
tell
Why
you
didn't
what.
you open a Spanish brewery?
Ooh.
We do have
You use it.
cerveza.
You use
Cerveceria.
We only have one Mexican beer.
Cerveza Fria. It would be the Cerveceria del Staberno.
Chris, do we still have that tequila barrel downstairs?
So we do.
Okay.
Sampled
there it is.
We sampled it today, actually.
Oh, nice.
Needs more time.
It needs more, he says with a frown.
Lots more time.
Can I get some salt with this?
Just around the rim, please.
You're going to need lots of salt.
Awesome.
More than the rim.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our little foray into the behind the scenes of the Stubborn German Brewing Company
Yes.
and really learning about the people that make this happen. I know I did. It's very fun. If you like this, I shouldn't even say if. You like this podcast,
Of course
so
you
go
like
ahead and
this.
subscribe. Just
You
hit
do.
that button, and while it's on your mind, hit the subscribe button right now. And you know what? If you're dialing in on one of the Apple products, leave us a review. Tell us what you feel about this show.
Or don't.
If it's good, leave us a review.
Yes,
Okay.
please don't.
And maybe on one of the next episodes, we'll read a few of those because we're very grateful for the people that have shared some positive words. We'll
That
do some
sounds fun.
shout-outs.
We should do that.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'm Kevin Oosty for Mr. Chris Ron, Jared Chasson, and Steve Agnew. And at the end of every episode of the Stubborn Podcast, we say...
Roast.
Roast.
A whole song
Billy
about
Joel
Christy Brinkley.
is the weirdest.
Yeah.
Which song was about Chrissy Brinkley?
Uptown Girl.
Oh, really?
I heard he was bragging on how good his music is since he doesn't make it anymore for like 30 years. He's like, yeah, I'm still selling out arenas and stuff, doing these same old songs.
And I'm dead. Yeah.
And I'm a corpse up there.
Well, that's what happens. You know,
I
so
hope you're recording.
On the automotive podcast world, on Apple, the number one podcast is Car Talk with Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, and one of them is dead.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he has been for
Click
5
or
years.
clack?
Yeah.
Clack, I believe.
Clack.
They use that chatbot
That's sad.
stuff. Is that?
Rest in peace,
Yeah,
clack.
Chat GPT.
It just keeps going, man. That's a great idea.
Can we do that here?
Never
Just
stop.
just
We never have to meet again.
Chat GPT is going to have the answer to the
AI our
German word of the
voices
day.
into the podcast, and
We've said enough words.
just sit
in
at the bar.
in the English language.
Yeah,
It's
they've
like,
already
go.
been recorded now, so we can just go sit at the bar. It's a great idea.
Someone else will interview Steve.
Good show, guys.
Google will.
Steve's just sitting here.
No, just let us know when you're done.
Yep.
Oh, we're on to something with that.
We are recording, by the way, so
Oh,
we're ready to go.
I hope so.
All right.